This video will show you how to set up your personalized letterhead for a standard business letter. So I have created a blank Google document and my cursor is at the very top on my first line. You'll notice that Google Docs defaults to Arial 11-point font. So I'm going to change that to business standard. So under the drop-down menu for font, I'm going to choose Times New Roman, which is usually right at the top. And I'm going to change my 11-point font to 12-point font. So Times New Roman 12 is business standard. Google also defaults to 1.15 in line spacing, and letters are always single spaced. So I'm going to click on that line spacing icon and I'm going to choose single. If I do that at the very beginning, I should not have to change that for the whole rest of the letter. For my personalized letterhead, for block formatting, although I could do everything against that left-hand margin, I like the letterhead to stand out. So the person reading your letter really has no problem at all figuring out who the letter was written by and how to contact that person. So I'm going to center my letterhead. So I'm going to click on my centering icon. Please make sure you always use the icon. Don't ever hold down your space bar and just kind of eyeball it or hit your tab key a couple of times. Always use your icon. The very first line of your personalized letterhead is going to be your name. You're always going to start with your title. So if it is a married woman, if you're married, it's going to be MRS period, and I am, so that's what I'm going to put. Your first name, last name. If you normally use a middle initial, then you can put that in as well. Then we're going to hit enter once because it's single space. We're not going to leave any blanks in between. And you're going to put in your street address. The address street always goes before the city and the state. So you put in your numbers always in your numerical order. So the number of your house always goes first and it's never written out unless it is the number 1. If you live at 1 Main Street, it would be ONE. All other numbers stay in numeric form. I'm going to spell out with capitals because a street is a proper noun. So I capitalize Main, I capitalize and spell out street. I am not going to abbreviate street. I'm going to put a comma if I have an apartment number. Otherwise, there would be no punctuation in that line. I'm going to hit enter once and I'm going to put in my city. And I'm going to say I live in Anywhere, California. There's always a comma after the city. And notice how there is never a space in front of a comma, but there's always a space after a comma. After my abbreviation for my state, which is always 2 capital letters, it's never a capital and a little. So California is capital C, capital A, not capital C, small a. 1 space, and then my zip code. I'm going to hit enter one more time. The next line of my personalized letterhead is going to be my phone number. I do not put in the number 1, even though when you dial the phone and you're calling outside of your area code, you put in the number 1. That should be common knowledge, so you don't have to write that. I'm going to put my area code in parentheses. That's pretty standard. You hit 1 space, then your next 3 numbers, dash, 4 numbers. Notice I did not put any spaces to the left or to the right of that dash. Those stay all tight, but you do need a space right here between your area code and those first 3 numbers. If you want to do dashes, that's fine. Just don't do both parentheses and dashes. It's one or the other. I'm going to hit enter one more time, and the last line of your personalized letterhead is your email address. That should be professional. If you don't have a professional email address, now is the time to create it. Gmail will give you free emails. It should be your name or your first initial last name, something that is very professional and businesslike. Good luck.